Hey everyone, this is Andy with American English. Learn English in context. When I was 16, I lived in a small town in a rural area of West Virginia. The year was 2010. Rural, of the country, away from the city, outside of urban or city environments. West Virginia, a state in the eastern United States. West Virginia is a very rural state. I liked living in the small town. I worked in my father's little store on weekends and after school. I knew almost everyone who came into the store. Weekend are Fridays and Saturdays in the United States, and knew is the past tense of know, to have knowledge of or to be acquainted with. It was an old country store. It was almost 100 years old. It had belonged to a man named Smith before my father bought it. He kept the name. Belonged means to have been owned by, possessed by. Comes from the past of the verb belong. Bought, the past tense of buy, and kept is the past tense of keep, to hold on to. One day, an older man came into the store. He was a stranger. I had never seen him before. He bought an orange soda and some candy bars. He was very humble and polite. A stranger is a person who is not known or someone who does not live in a community. Seen, the past participle of see. And humble is the quality of not showing much importance of value or self. As he left the store, he briefly talked to one of our customers named Richard in the doorway. It seemed like they knew each other. Briefly means a very short or quick period of time. Seemed, from the past tense of the word seem, which is to appear to be, or to look like, or to give an impression of. After Richard finished talking to the stranger, he came up to me and said, "I'm going to tell you a story." Many years ago, there was a boy who lived in this town. He was about your age. In fact, he worked in this store when it was owned by Old Man Smith. The boy's father was a drunk and a bad man. He would end up in jail every weekend because he would get in trouble. His father would beat on the boy and his mother. Drunk, a person who drinks too much alcohol, an alcoholic, or a person who has a drinking problem. And beat is to hit or strike another person many times. The boy disappeared on his 18th birthday. He was not seen for many years until his father died. Disappeared, to go missing, to not be found or located, or not able to be seen. This is the past of disappear. After his father died, he came home to visit his mother. We learned he had joined the army and learned about computers. After he got out of the army, he moved to California and worked with computers. Joined, to take part in, connect, or become linked to. Army, a branch of the military. Got out, comes from the phrasal verb get plus out, which means to leave, to exit, and this is in the past form. We didn't see him very much for the next 10 years. He would occasionally visit his mother once or twice a year. Occasionally, not very often, once in a while, not frequent. About 10 years after that, he came home and took his mother to church one Sunday. He talked to a few people at church and told them he was living in California and working at a small computer company. Richard then told me to get out my phone and Google the name Roger Dawson and Orange Computer Technologies. I did. I couldn't believe what I read. I was shocked. Roger Dawson was the founder, CEO, and president of the famous company Orange Computer Technologies. He was a multimillionaire and one of the richest people in the United States. He had sold the company for $1 billion in 1999. Believe, to accept something as the truth. Shocked comes from the word shock, to be very surprised or to be emotionally surprised. Shocked is in the past. And founder, a person who starts something from the beginning. Richard looked me in the eyes and said, "Yep, the man that just walked out of your store was Roger Dawson. He flies in from California every month to spend time with his mother. You would never know he was one of the richest people in the United States." Yep, informal or slang of the word yes. Flies comes from the word fly, to travel by airplane. Richest, meaning to have the most money, comes from the word rich. I went off to college a few years later and never saw Mr. Dawson again, but I always remember him from that chance encounter. He was so humble and polite. Chance encounter, an unplanned, unexpected, or unintended meeting of two people who don't know each other.